Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ground and Pound Podcast quick picks video for the full card breakdown here of UFC Vegas 118. Muhammad taking on Bonfim in the main event. And you know what we're here to do, break the whole thing down, rapid fire style. My confidence to each pick is at the bottom. If you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's dive right in to the early prelim opener of Aaran taking on Ketlin Souza. Give me Souza in this matchup, medium level confidence pick. I think the speed of Souza on the feet is going to give Carnelossi problems. She's shown a willingness to mix in takedowns. Carnelossi's been taken down and beaten up on the ground before. And I think Souza is just a step ahead on the feet. I think Carnelossi She's a little bit slow. I don't think she's necessarily UFC level, and I think the speed of Souza in the hands will give her a lot of problem. Give me Ketlin Souza here, medium level confidence pick. And next up, we've got Yanisi Dubin taking on Jesla Chavez. And I can't believe that Chavez here is a 4-1 favorite. I think this fight's an absolute coin flip. I don't think that either one of these women is UFC level. I lean to Chavez only because she showed toughness in her UFC debut, in her Dana White's Contender Series debut. And I think that she can definitely give one to get one. And Dubin relies a lot on that overhand right and the power in her hands. I think Chavez has a good job of being able to step out of range and counter. Give me Chavez here just to kind of bite down on her mouthpiece, have a little bit more volume, and kind of take this fight into deep waters where she's shown that she can at least swim. Dubin at this point, to me, looks like KO or bust and doesn't set up her shots as well. So give me Jesla Chavez here to get this one done. And next up, we've got Joe Anderson Brito taking on Jordan Levitt. Give me Brito in this one. I think that Levitt's the better wrestler, but I think that Brito's striking, his ability to kind of stalk you on the feet and land power shots is going to give Levitt a lot of problems and really make it difficult for him to mix in the grappling and the wrestling. And I do think if the fight hits the mat that Joe Anderson Brito's got grappling and jiu-jitsu of his own, and he looks to do a lot of ground and pound as well if he gets into dominant positions. Yes, he did get controlled by Pat Sabatini, but Pat Sabatini's a much better grappler than Jordan Levitt. So give me Joe Anderson Brito here to find the knockout on the feet, stalk, use the striking, defend the takedowns, or at least scramble in the takedowns to be able to get back to his feet and land the more damaging blows on the feet. I feel reasonably confident Brito should get this one done. And next up, we've got Priscilla Cachoeira taking on Chelsea Chandler. Absolute coin flip of a fight. Priscilla Cachoeira has absolutely zero takedown defense, but she does have one-shot power. Chelsea Chandler, obviously famous for having that meme running back in the cage and almost running into one of the poles. I just don't really trust either one of these women at this point. Chelsea Chandler could get the takedown and land ground and pound. She doesn't have good wrestling. She's very raw, and I think she leaves herself open to be countered. I think Priscilla Cachoeira here with the power, I'd rather side with her as it's going to come down to the damage and the striking. Not super confident, though. Give me Priscilla Cachoeira to get this one done. And next up, we've got Bruno Silva taking on Edgar Chairez. I lean to Silva in this matchup. I think that Chairez at times plays with his food. He didn't have a good performance in his last fight against Felipe Bunes. I think that Bruno Silva is a big step up in competition. Silva's been losing to the best of the best in this division, and I think that Chairez is actually a step down in competition for him. I think he's going to have more volume on the feet. I think that he's fought the who's who in this division, which is going to give him confidence here. And at times, Chairez leaves his hands down a little bit low, and I think that Silva can definitely get into range and land some big shots here. Slight lean to Bruno Silva to get this one done. And next up, we've got Marcus McGee taking on John Yanez. Give me McGee in this one. I think he's going to mix in his grappling. Obviously, was originally supposed to fight Jakob Wixlak, the grappler. Probably worked on his grappling and wrestling in this camp, and I think he comes in here and takes down Yanez, who has absolutely no takedown defense, and finds the submission. Either way, if this one plays out on the feet, Marcus McGee has power in the hand and good boxing, enough to give Yanez problems, but I think he's going to take the path of least resistance here, get the takedown, and ultimately find some sort of stoppage on the ground. And next up, we've got Ion Barnowski taking on Junior Tafa. Give me Barnowski here. Black belt in judo. Got some submission wrestling as well, and I think he's got absolute dynamite in the hands. He can do this the easy way or the hard way. He can take Tafa down, who has, again, zero takedown defense, and submit him or beat him up on the ground, or he can stand and trade with him on the feet. He's got power in the hands. Tafa does as well. He's a little bit more technical at times than Barnowski, but Barnowski carries that one-hitter quitter that I think Tafa's not going to like, and he can also mix in the trips, the throws, and some of the submission grappling as well. So give me Ion Barnowski here to get this one done. And next up, we've got Matt Schnell taking on Alexandro Costa. I like Costa to get this one done. Schnell, great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, great grappling, but I think that Costa can defend anything that he has to offer him on the ground. Training partner with Diego Lopes, obviously a much better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and grappler, and he has dynamite in the hands. I think he can get on the inside, land power shots to the body, to the head. He has nice, tight, crisp hooks that he can utilize and maybe find the knockout here against Schnell. So give me Alexandro Costa here to find the knockout. And next up, we've got Bryce Mitchell taking on Santiago Luna. I like Mitchell at this weight class. He looks a little bit bigger, a little bit more full. His cardio lasts well, and I think that he's going to be able to squeak out a split decision here against Luna. 4-time national champion in Mexican wrestling. I do think that Mitchell here has got a much better who's who in terms of his pedigree of who he's fought. And I think in this particular matchup that Luna's a little bit raw on the feet. Still looks like he's kind of spamming buttons in terms of the Xbox controller when it comes to his striking. I think he's still got a little bit of work to do when it comes to actually setting up his shots. And I think Bryce Mitchell can do a good job here of kind of making this fight boring, backing him up against the cage, holding him there, beating him up in the clinch, and then getting out to range and kind of blasting kicks. So give me Bryce Mitchell here to get this one done. Only by split decision, not super confident, as Luna has proven to be a handful. And next up, we've got Tom Nolan taking on Faraz Ziem. Give me Ziem here. I think he's going to be better everywhere. He's the better wrestler. He's the better grappler overall. Tom Nolan, very rangy for the division, but Ziem himself is 6'1" to Tom Nolan 6'2", and he's shown an ability to mix in wrestling and grappling, and his kickboxing is definitely something to behold. Give me Ziem here. He should be better all the way around, and he's fought the who's who. This is actually a step down in competition, in my opinion, for him against Tom Nolan. And that brings us to the co-main event. If you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button as we break down Brandon All-In Aaran taking on Edmund Shabazian. I like Aaran here to get this one done. The problem with Shabazian, we all know, is his takedown defense. He's definitely worked on that. He's shown improvements in his 3 wins in a row against wrestlers and grapplers. But Brandon Aaran, he sets up his wrestling beautifully with his shooting, with his striking. He's been working with Khamzat Chimaev this camp on his wrestling, and I think he's going to be able to come in here and use his ground game against Shabazian. Shabazian is a good boxer, great striker, but the problem here is that Aaran can mix in the grappling and the striking, whereas a lot of the opponents he's been facing recently don't have that striking to fall back on. I think Aaran here is a step down in competition. He should be able to get this one done here, and I think that the camp with Khamzat in the wrestling is definitely going to serve him well. And that brings us to the main event. We've got Gabriel Bonfim taking on Belal Muhammad. I like Bonfim here to get this one done. I think he's athletic. It's old line versus new line here, in my opinion. We've got 37-year-old Belal Muhammad, the former champ, on a 2-fight skid, and I think we see Belal kind of take a little bit of a nosedive here in his career. I think Bonfim is dangerous everywhere. He's got good submission skills. He's got power in the hands. He's got a nice timed knee in the clinch that we saw against Randy Brown. And people are talking about his cardio issues, but Belal's going to have to push a pace in order for him to do that. And he's going to have a tough time getting his leg chewed up, and also that jab, that he step-in jab that Bonfim likes to throw. I think Gabriel Bonfim is actually a little bit underrated. I think he's learned from his loss, so I lean to him to get this one done here. And if you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. Check out some of our other content on the channel. We've got full card betting guides. We've got the full card breakdown, dog of the week. We've even got the cycle parlay up and running here. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.